For a sector on which the Nigerian budget is usually predicated, it's only natural that it generates lots of buzz and attention. So, the year 2017 witnessed the launch of an investigation by the Senate Committee on Gas into the Escravos gas to liquid project owned and completed by Chevron. The duty call was to ascertain why the project cost 10 times more compared to a similar project in Qatar with similar capacity and technology. Officials from the NNPC, Chevron and other stakeholders were invited for questioning. The outcome of the probe is yet to be made public. Experts say nothing less than $2 billion can be recovered. In the year also, an LPG summit was declared open by the Vice President, which aimed at finding ways to make LPG a major source of domestic fuel across homes in Nigeria. Gas is said to be cheaper and cleaner, Nigeria a gas province, but infrastructure to develop it and issues around taxation makes that difficult. The fallout, a presidential working committee was set up and a plan to distribute at least 3 million cylinders free to homes across Nigeria. That is not looking like the case. In 2016 alone, there were more than 20 attacks on critical pipelines which convey petrodollar in Nigeria, leaving a devastating impact on production levels. Some upstream companies posted red that a repeat will be one event too many. FG moved in, got boots on the waters and swampy terrains on the Niger Delta, an action many thought was counterproductive, so that as early as the first quarter, precisely February in 2017, the Vice President embarked on a tour of critical states, holding talks with the right persons and also conveying proposals of government about the region. He made audacious statements to the effect of federal government's commitment to licensing modular refineries to the applaud of many. Progress was made, nerves were calmed, production surged, reserves followed, relative peace returned, that in July the Trans-Focados line was back on stream after it was blown out for about 8 months, helping to bring back Nigeria technically out of recession. NNPC continued on an aggressive chase for oil in the Gongola Basin, the Chad Basin, and more. The ground geological survey was on the way when 3 lecturers on the project in the Chad Basin were kidnapped by suspected Islamic militants. Sadly, they are yet to regain their freedom since July of 2017 till date. Another unfinished business in the sector is the partial passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill, one of the oldest bill. The Senate passed the governance part of the bill while we await the concurrence from the lower chamber, and of course, that's not happening again in 2017. Mind you, that bill has been broken down into 3 parts: the governance, fiscal, which is regarded as the most critical by experts, and the host community, arguably the most controversial.
I'd just like to solicit the support of everybody to let us together get it across the finishing line. If we don't do that this time around, it certainly will be.
At the ministerial level, the Minister of State for Petroleum, Dr. Ibe Kachuku, continued to pursue the 7 big wins, a reform document to reset the sector while awaiting a comprehensive document called Law for the Industry. One of the highlights of 2017 is the exemption from OPEC cuts, which the minister advocated, spearheaded, and got Nigeria a breather with an extension for 2018. But he has a worry.
For us to continue to project, the next battle for me is cost. Because at the end of all this, it doesn't matter what the volumes are. If we do not get our costs of production to a point that is reasonable and comparative to the very high-performing OPEC members, Saudi Arabia, UAE, that sort of stuff, Iran, then it doesn't matter what number anybody gives us, we're blowing it. And that's why you see me shouting all the time that I will have to work with NNPC, work with all the parastatals to keep, and work with the oil companies to keep driving those numbers down.